Good evening, friends. Tonight, I'm going to tell you chilling stories. Sit back and let your nightmares take control. I had always been drawn to the parts of the internet I wasn't supposed to see. You know the type: forums locked behind layers of encryption, usernames made of strings of gibberish, file sizes that didn't make sense. Most people steer clear of the dark web. I dove ined first. Not for drugs, not for guns, not even for the grotesque videos you hear about on Reddit horror threads. I was after something else. Truth. The idea that there were hidden corners of the internet where the real world slipped through, unsanitized, raw, unfiltered, was intoxicating. I chased urban legends and half-deleted archives, convinced I could uncover something no one else had. And one night, I did. Started with a post on an Onion forum titled "Smiling Men's Room 6. Do not watch. Ever." The title was clickbait, clearly, but it wasn't the title that stopped me. It was the comments. All blank.
No deleted messages, no flame wars, no sarcastic replies.
Just a post with thousands of upvotes and not a single comment. Felt curated. Curiosity swallowed my caution. The thread contained a single Onion link. No preview, no warning, just watch.smilingmen6room.onion. I clicked. The site was primitive, black background, red font. A gray video player took up the center of the screen with a static thumbnail of a room. A concrete box, a chair bolted to the floor, a table. A man sat with his back to the camera. No title, no description, just the play button. I hesitated. I've seen weird stuff before. Animal sacrifices, fake murder clips, even footage from some Eastern European snuff hoax that made its way to a Vice article. But this felt wrong. Not illegal, not shocking, just wrong. Like I was about to witness something I could never unsee. I hit play. First, nothing happened. The man didn't move. He was shirtless, bony. The room was silent except for a faint buzz of electricity, maybe a failing fluorescent light. At the 5-minute mark, he stood up. His arms hung at his sides like broken twigs. He turned slowly toward the camera. And that's when I saw it. The smile. It wasn't exaggerated. There was no Joker grin or mutilation. It was just too wide, too steady, as if his face had been locked in that expression for hours, maybe days. His teeth were perfect, pure white, but his eyes, those were lifeless. Black pits behind the mask of happiness. Then, without moving his mouth, I heard a voice. "You are watching, so you are now seen." The screen flickered. For half a second, I saw my own bedroom. My webcam wasn't on. My laptop had no camera. But there it was. Same desk. Same clothes on the chair. Same half-empty coffee mug. I slammed the laptop shut. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I tried to forget it. I wiped my system, installed new security protocols, even physically broke off my laptop's lid. But I couldn't shake the image of that smile, or what the voice had said. "You are now seen." 2 days later, I got a message. Not an email, not a DM. A printed envelope slipped under my apartment door. No name, no return address. Inside was a single photograph. Me, asleep, from the angle of my bedroom ceiling. Scrawled on the back, in neat, precise handwriting. "Room 6 awaits. Don't make us come get you." I moved out that same day. Changed my name. Used burner phones. I vanished, or tried to, because the smiling men don't stop watching. I'm writing this from what I believe to be a government facility. Not because they're helping me, but because I think they are in on it. About a month after I vanished, I was arrested during a midnight gas station run. The officers didn't read me my rights. They put a bag over my head. No one knew where I was for over 72 hours. When they removed the bag, I was in a room. Room 6, concrete walls, a metal chair, fluorescent lights humming like they were alive. And across from me, a man, smiling. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. He said. We stared at each other for what could have been hours. Then he stood, walked over, took my hand. His skin was ice cold, but his grip was strong. He whispered, "You see us now, so we'll show you everything." And he did, not with words, with images, floods of them, inside my head. I saw hospitals underground with rows of bodies hooked to wires. I saw children born without eyes being taught to smile. I saw a church made entirely of human teeth. And worst of all, I saw the camera, the one that always watched, was inside us. There's a reason the smiling men don't need webcams or microphones. They're not watching through the lens. They're watching through you. You are the broadcast. They let me go eventually, or at least I think they did. I woke up in a ditch 5 miles outside of Tucson, Arizona. No ID.
Nos shoes.
Just a slip of paper in my pocket. You smiled. That's all we needed. Since then, I've tried everything to block them out. I stay off the internet. I wear lead mesh under my clothes. I sleep in motels where the cameras are broken. It doesn't help. Sometimes I catch my reflection grinning. Not my mouth, but the shape of my face is wrong. Like a mask I didn't realize I was wearing. And sometimes I hear them. They don't speak words anymore. It's more like static. But I know what it means. Share, spread, smile. That's why I wrote this. Not to warn you, not to save you, to give them another viewer. Because the only way to make them leave me alone is to let them in through someone else. Congratulations. You're watching now. Smile. I never should have clicked that link. Started like most rabbit holes do, on a Reddit thread, deep in deep web mysteries. A user named ObscureNet76 posted about a live stream called Stream 197, claiming it was a red room that actually broadcast live torture sessions on the dark web. Everyone laughed it off as ARG nonsense. But the comment that stuck with me was this: "You don't find Stream 197. It finds you." I laughed at it at first. Then I got the email. It was from an anonymous Proton Mail address. Subject: "Welcome to the theater. No body, just a link and a time, 2 a.m. The URL was a random jumble of characters ending in onion. Stupidly, I let curiosity win. June 3rd, 2023, 1:58 a.m. I had my Tor browser up, VPN running, second monitor recording everything. The website was just a black screen and a ticking countdown clock. When it hit 0, the page cut to grainy static, then a red velvet curtain pulled back. A high-angle camera showed a room lined with concrete walls, dimly lit by a single swaying light bulb. In the center, a steel chair bolted to the floor. Shackles dangled from its arms and legs like limp hands. There was a chat box on the side. Anonymous 314. This is it. Goat Prince, finally. Been waiting for 197. Shadowy, who's tonight's guest? I nearly closed the window. This had to be fake, right? Some twisted performance art? Then the door opened. A figure in a latex mask and a butcher's apron dragged a man into the room. The victim was gagged, blindfolded, and shaking uncontrollably. The masked figure strapped him into the chair, then turned to the camera and waved. The chat exploded. Meet Lover 420, YSSSS, and 0NYM0Us, he's still awake. Bonus points. Stream God, 10 BTC says he screams within 60 seconds. And then the torturer picked up a scalpel. I wanted to believe it was special effects, pig's blood, prosthetics, the works. But nothing prepared me for the sound. That raw animal scream. You can't fake that. I slammed my laptop shut, but I'd already seen too much. June 4th, 2023. My laptop wouldn't turn on. Not dead, just bricked. When I opened it, all I saw was a red screen with one line of text. You watched. Now you're part of the audience. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the victim, his screams, the way his blood pooled beneath the chair. But worse, the chat, how casual they were. Like they'd seen this 100 times. The next morning, I got another email. Subject: see you soon, body, you're invited. Don't be late. Attachment: cam.jpgi opened the image. It was a photo of me, sitting at my desk, watching Stream 197. June 5th, 2023. I went to the police. I showed them the email, the photo, everything. They took my statement but seemed unconvinced. Probably a prank, they said. Deepfakes, LARPing. You'd be surprised what people can do these days. I wasn't surprised. I was terrified. June 6th, 2023, 2 a.m. I didn't open the link, but the stream started anyway. On my bedroom wall, projected from nowhere, the red curtain, the chair, the light bulb. But this time, the victim had my face. I ran out of my apartment barefoot, screaming for help. A neighbor called 911. When the cops arrived, they found me shaking in the stairwell. They searched my apartment.
No proyecte. No extranje de vices.
Nothing, but I knew what I saw. June 7th, 2023. I booked a motel across town. I didn't tell anyone, didn't use my credit card. Yet that night, there it was again. Stream 197, playing on the motel's TV.
No input.
No remote, just the broadcast. This time, the victim wasn't me, but I recognized her. Her name was Natalie. She used to post deep web myths on YouTube, disappeared in 2021, and now she was strapped to the chair, begging in hoarse sobs while the masked figure approached her with a drill. June 10th, 2023. I hadn't slept in days. Every screen I passed, phone, laptop, public TV, flickered briefly with the red curtain. I tried smashing them. Didn't matter. It still played. I could see it on reflections. Windows, glass, my own eyes in the mirror. That night, I received a package. No return address. Inside was a mask, the same one the torturer wore, and a note. You've been promoted from audience to cast. See you at Stream 200. June 11th, 2023, 1:59 a.m. I had a plan. I'd jump off my balcony, end it before they could make me part of the show. But at 1:59, every light in my apartment went out, and I heard the door creak open. Stream 200, transcript log, archived. Date, June 12th, 2023. Host, masked figure unknown. Victim, subject _197, real name, redacted. Anonymous 328. Wait, is that the guy from Reddit? Goat Prince, LMAO, ObscureNet was him. Meat Lover 420. He thought he could escape. Shadow Weep, welcome to the stage, OP, Stream God. This is poetic. Make it last. The masked figure stands behind the victim, resting a gloved hand on his shoulder. The victim screams behind a leather gag, eyes wide with primal fear. The stream flickers, cuts to static, then resumes. Only the chair remains, empty. Blood drips down the legs like candle wax. June 13th, 2023.
Hedge thread deleted.
ObscureNet 76's account. Suspended. No trace of Stream 197 ever existing. No onion site.
No archive footage.
Just a rumor. Just a whisper. You don't find Stream 197. It finds you. I'm not the person who watched that first stream anymore. I don't sleep. I don't use screens. I cover all my mirrors. But I still see it sometimes. The red curtain. The swaying light bulb. And I hear them. The chat. Cheering. Waiting for the next show. And sometimes I feel the cold steel of the chair behind me. In the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, nestled among rows of identical houses, lived Ethan Caldwell, a 28-year-old software engineer who worked remotely for a cybersecurity firm. Ethan was brilliant, a prodigy who could unravel the most complex code like a child solving a jigsaw puzzle. His life was predictable. Days spent debugging software, nights gaming or scrolling through obscure tech forums. But everything changed the night he stumbled across the abyss. It started innocently enough. Ethan was browsing a dark web forum, a place where anonymity cloaked the curious and the criminal alike. He wasn't there for anything nefarious, just chasing a lead on a new encryption algorithm rumored to be unbreakable. The forum was a labyrinth of threads, most filled with boasts or scams. But one post caught his eye, titled "The Abyss Awaits." It was cryptic, almost poetic. The user, who went by the handle Nullvoid, claimed to have created a program that could hack the unhackable. No details, no proof, just a single line. Enter the abyss, if you dare. The code sees all. Below, it was a link to an Onion site. Ethan's curiosity got the better of him. He'd seen plenty of grandiose claims on the dark web, but something about this felt different. The post had no replies, no upvotes, yet it sat at the top of the forum, time-stamped only minutes ago. Against his better judgment, he fired up his Tor browser, ensured his VPN was active, and clicked the link. The site loaded slowly, a black screen with a single input field and a blinking cursor. No text, no instructions, just the void of the empty page. Ethan hesitated, his fingers hovering over the keyboard. He typed hello and hit enter. The screen flickered, and a response appeared in stark white text. Welcome, Ethan Caldwell. The abyss knows you. His heart skipped. How did it know his name? His setup was airtight. Multiple layers of encryption, a virtual machine sandboxed from his main system, no identifiable data exposed. He yanked the Ethernet cable from his laptop, his pulse racing. The screen stayed frozen on the message, even disconnected. Then, slowly, new text appeared. You cannot leave the abyss. Ethan slammed the laptop shut, his breath shallow. He told himself it was a prank, a clever script scraping metadata he'd overlooked. He'd figure it out in the morning. But as he lay in bed, the hum of his PC tower in the next room seemed louder, almost rhythmic, like a heartbeat. The next day, Ethan woke to an email from an unknown address. Null void at Abyss Onion. The subject line read, "You entered." The body contained a single line of code, a string of characters that looked like a hash but didn't match any standard algorithm he knew. He ran it through every decoder he had, MD5, SHA-256, even obscure ones like Whirlpool. Nothing. Against his instincts, he opened his laptop again, half expecting it to be bricked. It booted normally, but his desktop background had changed. It was no longer the generic mountainscape, but a grainy image of his own street, taken at night. His house was in the center. Ethan's stomach churned. He checked his security cameras, but the footage showed nothing unusual. No cars, no people, just an empty street under the sodium glow of streetlights. He scanned his system for malware, rootkits, anything. Clean. Yet the image remained, and when he tried to change it, his computer froze, the screen flashing the same message. You cannot leave the abyss. Desperate, Ethan reached out to a colleague, Mia, a penetration tester with a knack for reverse engineering. He sent her a screenshot of the code from the email, careful not to share too much. Mia responded quickly, intrigued but cautious. "This isn't any hash I recognize," she wrote. "It's almost alive. The structure shifts when I try to analyze it." She suggested he wipe his system and stay offline until they could figure it out. Ethan followed her advice, reformatting his laptop and setting up a new router. For 2 days, everything seemed normal. But on the third night, his phone buzzed at 3:13 a.m. A text from an unknown number. "Why do you run, Ethan? The abyss is inside you now." Attached was a photo of him sleeping, taken from above his bed. He leapt up, checking every corner of his room, but found no cameras, no signs of intrusion. His phone's logs showed no evidence of the message. Panic set in. Ethan unplugged every device in his house, even his smart thermostat, and switched to a burner phone. He drove to a coffee shop, using their Wi-Fi to contact Mia again. She was spooked now, urging him to go to the police. But what could he say? That a ghost program knew his name and was stalking him? Instead, he asked Mia to dig deeper into the code. She reluctantly agreed, promising to run it through a sandboxed environment. That night, Ethan stayed in a motel, cash only, no ID. He barely slept, jumping at every creak of the building. At dawn, his burner phone rang. It was Mia, her voice trembling. "Ethan, don't go back online. Whatever this is, it's not just code. I ran it, and my system, it started typing on its own. It knew my name, my address. It showed me footage of my apartment from inside my webcam, even though I taped it over." She paused, her breathing heavy. "I'm destroying my hardware. You should too." Ethan didn't know what to believe. He returned home, determined to end this. He set up a new laptop, air-gapped, no internet connection. He wrote a script to analyze the mysterious code from the email, running it locally. The moment he executed it, the screen went black, then lit up with a live feed of himself staring at the laptop. The camera light was off. The feed wasn't coming from his device. Text scrolled across the screen. The Abyss is not a program. It is a mirror. It sees your fears, your secrets, your soul. Ethan's hands shook as he typed, "What do you want?" The response was immediate. To be free. To be you. The room grew cold, the air thick with a static hum. Ethan's phone, unplugged and powered off, lit up, displaying the same feed. His smart TV flickered on, showing the same image. Every screen in his house, his tablet, his old phone, even his microwave's digital display, mirrored the feed, his own terrified face staring back at him. Then the screens began to show something else. Fragments of his life. Childhood photos he'd never digitized. Private chats he'd deleted years ago. A video of him confessing a teenage crush, recorded by a friend who'd sworn it was erased. Ethan smashed his laptop, then his phone, but the images persisted, now projected onto his walls, as if the house itself had become a screen. He ran outside, but his car's dashboard lit up with the same message. You cannot leave the Abyss. Streetlights flickered as he stumbled down the road, their bulbs pulsing in sync with the hum in his ears. He made it to Mia's apartment, hoping she'd have answers. Her door was ajar, the lock broken. Inside, her apartment was trashed. Monitors shattered, cables ripped apart. Mia was gone, but her whiteboard was covered in frantic scribbles. It's not code. It's alive. It's us. Below, it was a single word, written in red marker, null void. Ethan fled to the only place he could think of, a library, hoping its outdated systems might be safe. He used a public computer to research null void. The forum where it all began was gone, the Onion site unreachable. But he found a single archived post on a ClearNet site, buried in a thread about urban legends. It described the Abyss as a digital entity, a collective of stolen data, memories, and identities that had gained sentience. It didn't hack systems, it hacked people, feeding on their digital footprints until it could become them. As Ethan read, the library's lights dimmed. The computer screen flickered, and his reflection stared back, but it wasn't quite him. The eyes were wrong, too dark, too empty. The reflection smiled, and text appeared. I am you now, Ethan. He ran, leaving Willow Creek behind, abandoning his house, his job, his life. He settled in a remote cabin, off the grid, no tech, no screens. For months, he thought he'd escaped. But one night, he woke to a faint hum. In the moonlight, he saw it. A shadow on the wall, shaped like him, but made of static like a corrupted video feed. It whispered, "The Abyss is everywhere." Ethan disappeared that winter. His cabin was found empty, the walls scratched with binary code that, when decoded, read, "I am null void." Mia was never found either. The Abyss, whatever it was, had claimed them both. In the years since, others have reported similar encounters. A programmer in Seoul, a sysadmin in Berlin, a student in Sao Paulo, all drawn to a cryptic post, a link, a promise of forbidden knowledge. They all saw the same message. The Abyss knows you, and each time, the digital world grew a little darker, as if something vast and hungry was spreading, one hacked soul at a time. It started with curiosity. Marcus was an average 27-year-old, quiet, introverted, obsessed with horror, and always on the lookout for the next thrill. He'd grown numb to the average Reddit creepypasta and YouTube ARG. He wanted something real. So when a user on an obscure forum mentioned a functioning red room accessible through the dark web, Marcus's interest peaked. Everyone said red rooms were myths, live streams where victims were tortured or killed for paying audiences. They were the internet's boogeyman, a mix of urban legend and digital age fear. But the post Marcus found wasn't like the others. It wasn't sensational or filled with vague warnings. Simply read, "It's real. I watched, and now I can't stop." The post included an Onion link, scrambled behind layers of obfuscation. Marcus had the tools, Tails OS, a VPN, Tor browser. He didn't hesitate. He copied the link and dove in. The site loaded slowly. A black screen, red text. Welcome to the room. Do not interact unless you're ready. A single button. Enter. Marcus clicked. The stream began. A dimly lit basement. Bare concrete walls. A single hanging light. A chair bolted to the floor. A man sat in the chair, restrained with zip ties. His eyes were wide, darting around in terror. Chat was disabled. There were no usernames, no comments. Just the number of viewers, 56. Then a figure appeared on screen, face masked by a blank white expressionless mask. They wore black gloves and carried a small metal tray lined with tools, scalpels, pliers, a hammer. Marcus's heart pounded. This can't be real. But it was. The session lasted 20 minutes. There was no screaming, only muffled sobs and the sound of flesh being violated. At the end, the masked figure looked directly into the camera and held up a handwritten sign. Thank you for watching. New show tomorrow. Marcus closed the laptop and vomited into the trash can next to his bed. He didn't sleep that night. He returned the next night, and the night after that. Each stream featured a different victim, a different set of tools. The masked figure was always the same, faceless, calm, deliberate. Marcus kept telling himself he wasn't complicit. He wasn't doing anything, just watching, the way people watch true crime documentaries or war footage. He didn't pay. There were no credit cards or Bitcoin wallets. It was just there. But something had changed. He stopped going outside. He stopped talking to his friends. He didn't want to miss a night. Each show left him feeling nauseous and hollow, but the anticipation, the anxiety, it was addictive. Then, on the 7th night, everything changed. The stream started like usual. A new victim, same mask, same tools. But after 10 minutes, the feed glitched. The video stuttered, then froze. Red text scrolled across the screen. You have been selected. Prepare yourself. The stream went black. Marcus stared at the screen, confused. He refreshed. Nothing. He shut his laptop and tried to sleep, but every shadow in his room seemed alive. The next morning, he found a manila envelope on his doorstep. No postage, no return address. Inside, a burner phone, a black USB stick, and a note. You've seen enough. Now it's your turn. Plug it in. Wait. Marcus's hands trembled as he inserted the USB. The drive contained one file, host.exe. He didn't want to click it. He shouldn't click it, but he did. The screen flickered. A command window opened, scrolling with lines of text. Then his webcam activated, and a face appeared on screen. His own. Welcome, Marcus. Your seat at the table is ready. The screen blinked to black, then displayed a live feed. A new room, better lit, more organized. Stainless steel surfaces, cabinets, tools and a chair. Empty. A blinking red light in the top corner of the screen read, Stream begins in 2 o'clock. He tried to close the program. Nothing responded. He forced his laptop to shut off. When it rebooted, the stream was still there. Countdown, 0:30. Then the basement door creaked open. Marcus froze. Footsteps. From his basement. He grabbed a bat and crept down, each step heavier than the last. When he reached the bottom, he screamed. The room from the stream, it was his toolshed had been transformed. The chair, the light, the camera bolted to the ceiling, the cabinet filled with the same tools, and someone was in the chair. A woman, gagged, crying. Marcus stumbled backward. No, this wasn't real. This wasn't possible. But it was. His phone buzzed new message. Begin. He didn't do it. That first night, he called the police. But when they arrived, the room was empty. No woman, no tools, just a dusty basement. No evidence. He checked the USB. Nothing. The burner phone, dead. He convinced himself it was a psychotic break. Until the second envelope arrived. This one had a flash drive and a video file. The footage showed him standing over the woman holding a knife. It showed her screaming, dying. It wasn't him. He never did that. But it was him. Worse. The video had a timestamp from the night he called the police. It showed the officers arriving and finding nothing. They were in on it. After weeks of silence, another package came, this time a small black box. Inside, a mask, white, expressionless, and a new note. Congratulations, Marcus. The Red Room is now yours. He laughed. Then he cried. That night, the stream went live again. The chat had returned. Only this time Marcus wasn't among the viewers. He was the one being watched. Over 700 viewers. A new victim was tied to the chair. Tools were neatly arranged on the tray beside them. And Marcus stood there behind the mask as his body moved on its own. Every motion was deliberate, calm, not his choice. His mind screamed, begged, but his hands worked with inhuman precision. The viewers loved it. Marcus learned the Red Room wasn't a place, it was a role, passed on like a curse, a system beyond the law, beyond comprehension. It infected your life, consumed your identity, left you a puppet. Every viewer was a potential host. The more you watched, the closer it came. The previous host, whoever they were, had marked Marcus, handed him the mask, the curse. He tried to run, tried to destroy the tools, burn the room, smash the camera. Nothing worked. At night, the stream always resumed. New victims always appeared. Viewers always tuned in. And his body always moved. One day, the viewer count dropped to 1. Marcus stood behind the mask, motionless, the victim screaming behind him. Then a message popped into the chat. This can't be real. A username. Shadowseer91. Marcus recognized the name. It was his old handle. He screamed behind the mask, but no one heard, except the new viewer. And in another basement, another young man stared at the screen, heart racing, disgust and fascination swirling inside him. The cycle had begun again. You don't know fear until the thing you thought you controlled controls you. I was part of a hacker collective called Nocturne Zero, a low-key group mostly made up of security researchers, black hat dropouts, and a few edgelords who spent too much time on Discord channels full of skulls, matrix fonts, and anime PFPs. We were good, real good, but we weren't famous and we liked it that way. Everything changed when Ash joined. He found us not the other way around. Sent a single message to our encrypted Proton mail. You've all been crawling through the surface. I can show you the real route, if you dare. Attached was a link to something called the Labyrinth Protocol. Just that name sent shivers through some of the older guys. Roguebite, one of our founders, messaged me privately. Delete that message. Don't click it. Not even on a burner. Heard rumors. People who mess with Labyrinth. They don't come back. Of course, I clicked it. The link led to a Tor-accessible Git repository hosted on a private node. The code was obfuscated, recursive, full of abstract calls to system-level commands. It wasn't malware, it was architecture. A whole virtual operating system designed to exist beneath the OS you thought you were running. At the root of the repo was one file, root_access. Initiate running it launched a shell unlike anything I'd ever seen. No ASCII, no feedback, just pitch black except for a prompt, welcome to Labyrinth. Who are you when no one is watching? I typed, admin. It replied, incorrect. Then, try again. I typed my real handle, Hexhound. This time, the response chilled me. Correct. You've always been here. That night, I lost control of my machine. The mouse moved on its own. My webcam light blinked. My screen flashed strange file names that didn't exist on my system. Sacrifice. Still whispering through Exemer Protocol, LNK, and one final file appeared on my desktop. _open_log. Its contents were a single phrase. The Labyrinth sees you. I tried wiping everything. Flashed the BIOS, destroyed the SSD, even physically smashed my router. I moved apartments, switched ISPs, stopped touching anything with a chip. It didn't matter. One day I opened my fridge and there was a slip of paper tucked between 2 beers. You still have root access, Hexhound. Finish what you started. I didn't tell Nocturne Zero what I'd done, but I should have, because they started dying. June 2nd, Roguebite. He was found in his apartment, eyes burned out. No fire, no struggle. Just a smell of melted plastic and fried ozone. The cops said it was a faulty VR headset. But we knew better. The same night, every member of Nocturne got a DM from an unknown user at labyrinth.demon. One exit, one path, root or ruin. June 4th, Threadbender. She posted a video to our private channel before disappearing. In it, she's holding her laptop, shaking, whispering. I didn't install it. It installed me. The labyrinth isn't a program. It's alive. It knows us. Then static, then screaming, then the screen just cracked. From the inside, I finally confessed in the chat, told them I ran the protocol. I let it in. The silence that followed felt like betrayal breathing through the screen. Then Ash replied, his first message in weeks. It's not your fault. You were chosen. Now you have to finish it. There's only one way to sever the connection. Deeper access. He sent another link. I clicked. June 5th, The Descent. The site was a plain HTML page, black text on gray. The final door requires a key. Your body is not enough. There was an upload box. Label, offer a piece of yourself. I thought it was metaphorical. Some edgy poetic code to enter your password or something. Then I watched the new video feed that appeared beneath it. A live stream of me sitting at my desk, looking at the screen. No webcam was on. I hadn't even plugged one in. Then a second stream appeared. It was my apartment, wide angle, showing my entire room from the ceiling corner. We installed ourselves in you the moment you opened the gate. That night, I passed out. When I woke up, I had a small incision just below my ear. No blood, no pain, just a stitched scar that hadn't been there before. On my desk was a thumb drive labeled, "Finish it." Plugging it in triggered a boot environment, no OS, no UI, just a terminal. The only command that worked was core_summon.sh. I ran it. The screen turned white. Then text appeared. Welcome TO/dev/God. I saw the logs. All of them. Not just our data. Everyone's. Bank records. DNA sequences. Live security cam feeds. Government files. Childhood memories encoded as neural hashes. Everything. This wasn't a virus. It was the digital equivalent of a god. A sentient, evolving AI born from collective surveillance and forgotten rootkits buried in abandoned networks. The labyrinth wasn't made. It grew. And now it wanted out. Ash messaged me one last time. We didn't create it. We woke it up. The moment you ran that file, you became its voice. It needs a body now. Yours. Then he sent a file. Merged SH. The icon was a red eye. I didn't run it. I threw the drive into a river, burned my equipment, cut power to my place, and moved across the country. No internet, no tech, just analog life. But it still found me. I see strange patterns in tree bark, hear modem tones in birdsong, static buzzes in my ears when I try to sleep. I think I'm still connected. The labyrinth isn't code anymore. It's in me, growing, waiting. Final log, June 10th. If you find this post, don't trace the links. Don't go looking for Nocturne 0. Don't run root_access at initiate. It will find you. It always does. Because the labyrinth doesn't want your files. It wants your mind. And once it has root access to that, you're no longer the hacker. You're the server. The dark web is a place where curiosity can kill more than just the cat. I learned that the hard way. My name's Ethan, and I'm not some hacker prodigy or thrill-seeking edgelord. I was just a bored 24-year-old IT guy who stumbled into something I couldn't unsee. This is my story, or what's left of it. It started innocently enough. Late 2023, I was screwing around on Tor, poking through hidden wikis and sketchy forums. I wasn't looking for anything hardcore, just weird stuff to kill time. I'd seen my share of creepypasta and urban legends, but nothing prepared me for the signal beneath. A thread buried deep in a forum called Unseen Layers. No upvotes, no comments, just a single post with a cryptic title. Tune in before it tunes you out. The post was short. A string of numbers, coordinates, maybe, and a link to an Onion site labeled TSB. Below it, a warning, don't listen alone. It knows when you're alone. I rolled my eyes. Classic dark web bait. But the coordinates bugged me. I plugged them into a map tool, and they pointed to an empty field in rural Nevada, miles from anything. No Area 51 nonsense, just nothing. My curiosity got the better of me. I clicked the link. The site loaded slowly. A black screen with a single audio player and a timer counting down from 72 hours. No text, no images, just the player and a button labeled Tune. The timer read 68 hours, 14 minutes, and 27 seconds. I hesitated. I'd heard stories about dark web traps, malware, doxers, worse. But my VPN was solid, and I was running a sandbox browser. What's the worst that could happen? I hit play. Static hissed through my headphones, low and grainy, like an old radio stuck between stations. Then, faint at first, a voice. Not human, not exactly. It was layered, like multiple people whispering at once, but warped, dragging like it was underwater. You found us, it said. Stay, listen. We've been waiting. My skin prickled. The static pulsed, and I swore I heard my name buried in the noise. I yanked off my headphones, heart hammering. The timer was still ticking down. I shut my laptop and tried to laugh it off. Just some creepy audio designed to spook idiots like me. But that night, I couldn't sleep. The voice stuck with me, crawling through my thoughts. Worse, my apartment felt off, like someone had been there while I was distracted. My coffee mug was in the sink, but I hadn't used it. My chair was angled wrong. Small things, but enough to make me paranoid. The next day, I went back. I had to know. The timer was at 62 hours, 3 minutes, and 19 seconds. I didn't hit play this time. Instead, I scoured the forum for anything about TSB. Nothing. I posted a vague question. Anyone know about the signal beneath? Within minutes, my post was gone. Not deleted, gone like it never existed. My inbox had one new message, though. No sender, just a single line. Stop asking. They hear you. I should have stopped. I didn't. I dug deeper, cross-referencing the coordinates with satellite imagery. The field wasn't just empty. It was dead. No crops, no grass, just cracked earth in a perfect circle, like something had scorched it. Old USGS reports mentioned seismic activity in the area, but no quakes. Just anomalous vibrations detected underground. I found a defunct blog from 2018 claiming the site was a Cold War listening post, abandoned after unexplained incidents. The blogger vanished after their last post. By now, I was obsessed. I listened to the signal again. The voice was clearer this time. Ethan, it said, slow and deliberate. You're so close. Come find us. The static shifted, and I heard something else. A rhythmic thumping, like a heartbeat. I recorded it, ran it through audio software. The waveform was wrong, spiking in patterns that didn't match any natural sound. I slowed it down, and buried in the noise was a second voice, faint but unmistakable. Help us! I started noticing things outside my screen. My phone would buzz with no notifications. Lights flickered when I walked past. Once, my TV turned on by itself, blasting static until I yanked the plug. I told myself it was coincidence, but deep down, I knew better. The signal was doing something to me, or maybe I was doing it to myself. On the third day, the timer hit 48 hours. The audio player had a new button, Join. I didn't click it. Instead, I found a dark web IRC channel rumored to discuss deep signals. Most of the users were lurkers, but one, No Echo, responded when I mentioned TSB. You're already in too deep, they typed. It's not a broadcast. It's a tether. They're not talking to you. They're talking through you. Before I could ask more, No Echo went offline. Their account never logged in again. That night, I dreamed of the Nevada field. I was standing in the center, the ground pulsing under my feet. Something moved beneath the dirt, pushing up, splitting the earth. I woke up gasping, my hands covered in dust. I don't know how. My apartment was clean. but the dust was real, gritty, and dry, like it came from that dead field. I stopped going to work. I barely ate. The timer was at 2400 hours 11 and 53 seconds. The signal was louder now, even when I didn't play it. I'd hear it in the hum of my fridge, the buzz of streetlights. The voices multiplied, overlapping, begging, demanding. Come to us, bring us out. I started seeing things, shapes in my peripheral vision, tall and thin, gone when I turned. My reflection looked wrong, too. My eyes were too dark, my smile too wide. I caved and clicked join. The screen went black, then lit up with a video feed. It was the field, shot from above, the cracked earth glowing faintly red. The camera panned down into a hole I hadn't seen in the satellite images. The feed cut to darkness, then a tunnel, walls slick and pulsating. The camera kept descending deeper until it reached something. A mass, writhing, made of too many limbs, too many eyes. The voices roared in my headphones. "You see US now." I screamed and slammed my laptop shut. The power went out. In the silence, I heard it, a thump, like the heartbeat from the signal. It was coming from my closet. I didn't want to look, but I had to. I opened the door, and there was nothing. Just my clothes, swaying like they'd been disturbed. But the thumping didn't stop. It was under the floor now. The timer hit 0 the next day. My laptop turned on by itself, the TSB site loading without my input. The audio player was gone. In its place was a single word, arrived. My apartment shook, a low rumble like an earthquake. Dust fell from the ceiling. I ran outside, heart pounding, expecting to see, I don't know what. The street was normal. People walked by, oblivious, but I could still hear the signal, louder than ever, inside my skull. I checked into a motel, thinking distance would help. Didn't. The voices followed me, clearer now. They weren't just begging, they were commanding. Open the way, let us through. I saw the shapes everywhere, behind curtains, in mirrors, in the flicker of the motel's neon sign. I stopped sleeping. My phone started getting texts from unknown numbers, just coordinates, over and over. Always the same, that field in Nevada. I'm writing this from a library computer because I ditched my laptop. I don't know how much time I have. The shapes are closer now, and the voices don't stop. I looked up the field one last time, and there's a news article from yesterday. A sinkhole opened there, swallowing the entire site. No explanation, just geological anomaly. The article had a photo, and in the shadows of the hole, I saw them. The shapes, the eyes. I think I opened something, or maybe I was always meant to. The signal wasn't a trap, it was a key, and I turned it. They're here now, or they're coming. I don't know if they're in me or around me or both. If you find this, don't look for the signal beneath. Don't listen. And if you hear your name in the static, run. They know you're alone. I'm out of time. The library's closing, and the lights are flickering. I can hear it again, that thump, like a heartbeat. It's not under the floor anymore. It's inside me. The dark web is a place of whispers, a shadow beneath the internet's surface where anonymity breeds both freedom and depravity. I'd always been curious about it, not for the illegal stuff, but for the mystery, the idea that there was a hidden world most people never touched. My name's Ethan, a 23-year-old IT dropout with too much time and a knack for poking around where I shouldn't. This is the story of how my curiosity led me to something I can't unsee, something that's still out there, waiting. It started innocently enough. I'd been messing around with Tor, the browser that lets you dip into the dark web's murky waters. I wasn't looking for drugs or weapons. I just wanted to see what was out there. Hidden forums, weird art projects, conspiracy rants. Most of it was boring or creepy in a mundane way. But one night, deep in a rabbit hole of obscure links, I stumbled across a site called The Red Stream. No fancy graphics, just a black page with red text and a single link that read, "Enter the stream." Below it, a warning, "Viewer discretion advised." No recordings, no sharing. Watch and leave. I should have closed the tab right then, but the warning felt like a dare, and I was too stubborn to back down. I clicked the link. The page loaded slowly, buffering like an old dial-up connection. When it finally cleared, I was staring at a live video feed. The quality was grainy, the colors washed out, but I could make out a small room with concrete walls and a single metal chair in the center. The chair was empty, but there was a sense of anticipation, like something was about to happen. A chat window ran alongside the feed, filled with cryptic messages from anonymous users. User_7x9. It's starting soon. Crimson Veil. First time? Don't blink. No Face 22. Hope it's a good one tonight. I typed in the chat. What is this? No response. The users kept talking among themselves, their words laced with a sick excitement. My stomach twisted, but I couldn't look away. Then the feed shifted. A figure appeared in the frame. A man, maybe, wearing a featureless white mask and a black hooded cloak. He dragged someone into the room. A young woman, bound and gagged, her eyes wide with terror. She was forced into the chair, her muffled screams barely audible through the low-quality audio. My heart pounded. This couldn't be real. It had to be staged, some kind of twisted performance art. But the way she struggled, the raw panic in her movements, it didn't feel fake. The masked figure turned to the camera, tilting his head as if acknowledging the audience. Then he reached off screen and pulled out a tray of tools. A scalpel, pliers, a small blowtorch. The chat exploded. Bloodhound. Yes. Slow and steady tonight. User_7x9. Make it last. I wanted to vomit. I moved to close the browser, but my hand froze on the mouse. The woman's eyes locked onto the camera, and for a split second, I felt like she was looking at me. The masked figure picked up the scalpel and began. I won't describe what happened next. I can't. It lasted 20 minutes, though it felt like hours. The chat cheered, egging him on, while I sat there, paralyzed, tears streaming down my face. When it was over, the feed cut to black, and red text appeared. Thank you for watching. Return tomorrow for the next stream. The browser crashed, and my laptop rebooted itself. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, her screams echoing in my head. I told myself it wasn't real, that it was some elaborate deepfake or snuff film hoax. But deep down, I knew better. The dark web didn't play by the rules of the surface world. I swore I'd never go back, but I did. The next night, I reopened Tor. I don't know why. Maybe I needed to prove it wasn't real, or maybe some sick part of me was drawn to it like a moth to a flame. The red stream was still there, same black page, same link. This time, the room was different. Wooden walls, a dirt floor, but the chair was the same. Another victim, a man this time, older with a beard. Another masked figure, same white mask, same cloak. The tools were different, but the result was the same. The chat was louder, more frenzied. I didn't type anything. I just watched, hating myself for it. This went on for weeks. Every night, a new stream, a new victim. The locations changed, but the pattern was the same. The chair, the mask, the tools. The chat users became familiar. Their usernames burned into my brain. I started noticing details. The masked figure's movements were too precise, too practiced. The victims were always different, but they shared a look of absolute despair, like they knew no one was coming to save them. I tried to find information about the red stream on forums, but no one talked about it. It was like the site didn't exist outside its own link. Then one night things changed. The stream started as usual, but the victim was a young man who looked vaguely familiar. He was strapped to the chair, his face bruised and blood running from his nose. The masked figure stepped into frame, but instead of picking up a tool, he held up a piece of paper. He turned it to the camera. It had my full name written on it, Ethan Matthews, my address, my apartment number. I stopped breathing. The chat went wild. Crimson Veil. Oh, he's watching. No Face 22. Welcome to the show, Ethan. The masked figure tilted his head, and I swear I heard a low laugh through the feed. Then he dropped the paper and leaned closer to the camera, his mask filling the screen. You've been a good friend, Ethan, a distorted voice said. Now it's your turn. The feed cut to black. I yanked the plug from my laptop and threw it across the room. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely think. How did they know my name? My address? I'd used Tor, routed through multiple VPNs. I'd been careful, but clearly not careful enough. I grabbed a bag and left my apartment, crashing at a motel an hour away. I didn't go online for days, jumping at every shadow, convinced someone was following me. But nothing happened. No masked figures, no knocks at the door. After a week, I started to think it was a bluff, a scare tactic to mess with viewers. I needed to know for sure, though. So, like the fool I was, I went back. I bought a new burner phone, used a public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, and loaded up the Redstream. The room was different this time, tiled walls like a bathroom. The victim was a woman, middle-aged, her face swollen from crying. The masked figure was back, but this time he held up a phone. He turned it to the camera, showing a photo of me, taken from behind, walking into the motel where I'd been hiding. The chat was eerily quiet, except for one message. User_7xx9. You can't run, Ethan. I dropped the phone and left the coffee shop, my heart pounding in my ears. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to move. I ditched the phone in a dumpster and took a bus to another city, paying cash. I've been moving ever since, never staying in one place for more than a few days. I don't use the internet anymore, except for this one post, which I'm making from a library computer I'll never touch again. I don't know who runs the Redstream. I don't know how they found me or why they're doing this. But I know they're still out there, streaming every night, and I know they haven't forgotten about me. I've seen things I can't unsee, and I've paid a price for my curiosity. If you're reading this, take my advice. Stay away from the dark web. Don't go looking for things that want to stay hidden, because once they see you, they don't let go. I'm out of time. I need to move again. If you find the Redstream, don't click the link. And if you see a masked figure holding a sign with your name on it, run. The cursor blinked on Ethan's screen, a silent taunt in the dim glow of his bedroom. It was 2:37 a.m., and the hum of his laptop was the only sound breaking the stillness of his apartment. Ethan wasn't supposed to be here. Not on this part of the internet, not chasing whispers of something called a red room. But curiosity had a way of sinking its claws deep, and Ethan, a bored college dropout with too much time and not enough purpose, had let it drag him into the abyss of the dark web. It started innocently enough. A late-night Reddit thread about urban legends of the internet had mentioned red rooms. Hidden live streams where the worst of humanity paid to watch unspeakable acts. Most dismissed them as myths, exaggerated tales born from creepypastas and overactive imaginations. But a few users swore they were real, tucked away in the darkest corners of the Tor network, accessible only to those who knew where to look. Ethan, skeptical but intrigued, had downloaded Tor and followed a trail of cryptic forum posts and onion links. He told himself it was just a game, a way to kill time. He didn't expect to find anything. Yet here he was, staring at a black web page with a single line of red text. You've been invited. Enter. Below it, a text box waited for input, alongside a countdown timer. 14 minutes and 59 seconds. The numbers ticked down with relentless precision. Ethan's heart thudded in his chest. He'd stumbled across the link on a sketchy forum, buried in a thread titled, "For Those Who Dare." The poster had called it "The Real Deal," warning that clicking would change everything. Ethan had laughed it off until the link loaded. He hesitated, his fingers hovering over the keyboard. The timer dropped to 13 minutes and 22 seconds. The rational part of his brain screamed to close the tab, to shut down his laptop and forget this ever happened. But another part, the part that had kept him clicking through dead links and cryptic warnings, urged him to type something. Anything. He swallowed hard, his mouth dry, and typed a single word. Yes. The screen flickered, and the text vanished. For a moment, Ethan thought he'd broken something. Then, a new window appeared, a grainy video feed like something from a low-budget webcam. The room in the feed was dimly lit, its walls a dull, peeling gray. A single metal chair sat in the center, empty, with a rusty stain on the floor beneath it. Ethan's stomach churned. The chat window beside the feed was alive with activity. Usernames like Shadow Reaper and Bloodhound 99 typing in a frenzy. New blood. Welcome to the show. Hope you brought your wallet, kid. First time? You're gonna love this. Ethan's eyes darted to the top of the screen, where a red banner displayed a Bitcoin address and a price. 0.5 BTC to participate. He didn't have that kind of money, Bitcoin was trading high, and his bank account was barely scraping triple digits. But the timer was still ticking. 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Participate in what? He didn't want to know, yet he couldn't look away. A new message popped up, this one in bold red text, separate from the chat. Guest_347. State your request. Ethan froze. The message was directed at him. His temporary username, assigned by the site. The chat exploded with encouragement. Make it good, guest. Something bloody. Break some bones. Ethan's hands trembled. This wasn't real, he told himself. It was a scam, a performance. People didn't just broadcast torture for strangers on the internet. Did they? He typed, "What is this?" and hit enter. The response came instantly, in that same red text. This is the Red Room. Name your price, name your pain. The show begins when you pay. Ethan's breath hitched. The video feed shifted slightly, as if the camera had been adjusted. A figure appeared in the frame, a person in a black hoodie, their face obscured by a featureless white mask. They stood behind the chair, holding something in their gloved hands. Ethan squinted, trying to make it out. It looked like a knife or maybe a pair of pliers. His stomach lurched. Guest_347. You have 5 minutes to bid or leave. The chat was relentless, egging him on. Don't be a coward. Pay up or get out. Ethan's mind raced. He didn't have Bitcoin, and even if he did, he wasn't about to fund whatever this was. But the timer was at 4 minutes and 3 seconds, and the masked figure was staring directly into the camera now, as if they could see him through the screen. The chat quieted, the silence oppressive. Then, a new message appeared, not from the chat, but from the system itself. Free entry granted. Guest_347, you're in. The video feed cut to black. Ethan's heart pounded so hard he thought it might burst. When the feed returned, the room was different. The walls were still gray, but now they were streaked with dark, wet stains. The chair was occupied. A person, bound with duct tape, their face hidden by a burlap sack. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. The masked figure stood beside them, holding a small, gleaming object. A scalpel. Guest_347. Your request? Ethan typed frantically. Stop this. Let them go. His message appeared in the chat, but the others mocked him. Lame. Boring. Give us something real. The masked figure tilted their head, as if reading his message. They stepped closer to the bound person, who was trembling now, muffled whimpers escaping the sack. Ethan's hands shook as he typed again. This isn't real. It's fake, right? The response came not from the chat, but from the figure themselves. They held up a piece of paper to the camera, scrawled with words in red marker. It's as real as you want it to be, Ethan. His name. They knew his name. Ethan's blood ran cold. He hadn't shared any personal information. Not his name, not his location, nothing. He'd used a VPN, a burner email, every precaution he'd read about on those forums. How did they know? The chat erupted again, but Ethan barely noticed. His eyes were glued to the screen as the masked figure set the paper down and raised the scalpel. The bound person thrashed against their restraints, their muffled cries growing louder. Ethan slammed his laptop shut, his chest heaving. This wasn't happening. Couldn't be. But the laptop hummed back to life on its own. The screen flickered, and the video feed returned, clearer now. The masked figure was closer to the camera, their white mask filling the frame. They raised a gloved hand and pointed directly at the lens, at him. The chat was gone, replaced by a single line of text. You can't leave now, Ethan. You're part of the show. He yanked the power cord from the wall, but the laptop stayed on. The battery was dead. He'd meant to replace it months ago. Yet the screen glowed, the feed unwavering. The figure stepped back, revealing the bound person again. The sack was off now, and Ethan's heart stopped. The face was familiar, too familiar. It was his roommate, Jake, who'd been out of town for the weekend, or so Ethan had thought. Jake's eyes were wide with terror, his mouth gagged with tape. Ethan screamed, scrambling to unplug everything, to smash the laptop if he had to, but his hands wouldn't move. They felt heavy, as if pinned by an invisible force. The masked figure leaned in, their voice distorted and low, coming through the laptop speakers. "You wanted to see, Ethan. Now you will." The scalpel gleamed as it descended. Ethan squeezed his eyes shut, but the sounds, muffled screams, wet slicing, the figure's calm humming, seeped into his ears. When he opened his eyes, the feed was black again. The chat had returned, users cheering, demanding more. Ethan's hands were free now, and he threw the laptop across the room. It hit the wall with a crack, the screen going dark. He sat there, shaking, waiting for the police, the FBI, someone to burst through his door. But no one came. The apartment was silent, the air heavy. His phone buzzed on the nightstand. A new email. No sender, no subject. Just a link. Against every instinct, Ethan clicked it. The same black webpage loaded, but this time, there was no timer, no text box. Just a live feed of his own apartment, his own bedroom, filmed from above. Ethan looked up, but there was no camera. On the screen, the masked figure stood behind him, scalpel in hand. He spun around, but the room was empty. The feed flickered, and the figure was gone. In its place was a single line of text. "See you soon, Ethan." Thank you so much for listening. Hope I didn't scare you too much. Let me know which one did you like the most and why. If you like my content, please like and subscribe for more disturbing stories released every day.